fire that up and we will get going. All right, everybody ready? I'm going to go ahead and call our regular meeting of the Wayne County Board of Education to order. It is 6 o'clock. And if you'll stand, we'll say the pledge. Mark, would you lead us this evening?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show that all board members are present in person, except for Mr. Ashworth, who is running late, but will join us shortly.
Okay.
All right, we can begin with our recognitions this evening, if we have any.
No recognitions this evening.
Okay, let's move on to our presentations, our academic spotlight this evening, from meeting to momentum.
So I'm going to give you guys a guidance sheet that will show you kind of lead along with some of the work that we've been
I
doing
got a couple.
with our
That's all right. I'll
our
put one here for Dennis.
PLCs this year.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you. So when we talk about improving student learning, we all know that the most important work doesn't happen in a program or in a policy. It happens when administrators and teachers come together and they look at student data and student work to determine the needs. And then they make programming decisions and instructional decisions based on those needs. So this year in Wayne County, one of the things that we've been doing with our principals is we have been having PLCs, professional learning community, meetings specifically with principals throughout the year, working with a program that Mr. Miller explored and discovered and brought to us called PLC Plus. And PLC Plus works by following 5 guiding questions, and you have those in front of you. So if we look at those questions, and you'll see them here on the screen too, we look at coming together collaboratively to consider where we're going as we move forward. Where are we now? How do we move learning forward for our students? And in a PLC, teachers would look at what did we discover in terms of moving student learning forward and who benefits from this the most and who does not benefit, maybe even more importantly, and for those who do not benefit, where do we go next? So principals are using these guiding questions to make a key shift moving forward. They want to move their PLCs that they have in their buildings with their teachers from simply planning lessons and just having general discussions about practice to actually analyzing the actual evidence of student learning. One of the things that we talk a lot about, our principals in their buildings and our teachers and here at central office, is that if you follow the student data and you look at what the data tells you and you use that to make your instructional decisions, it will lead you in the right direction in terms of student needs rather than assuming that we know how we want to go based on the things that we've always done. One of the things that helps us do is not just look at our needs based on current performance. It also allows us to look at where enrichment is needed for those students who are performing on level. How do we take every student where they are, whether it be on level, above level, or for those students who may be receiving intervention services below level, and how do we move them forward? So this tells you a little bit about the work that we did with principals through PLC Plus, and we really wanted to focus on how do we take our PLCs and move them from being just another meeting to being a truly productive vehicle for driving student growth and school-wide growth, and of course, in the end, district-wide growth. So we worked with our principals to focus on how do we structure our PLC meetings, how do they facilitate those instructional conversations, especially the difficult conversations. It's really easy to have an instructional conversation with a teacher whose data is strong. Where it is hard is to have those difficult conversations in a transparent way with teachers who are struggling. And so part of our responsibility at the district level and for our principals is to be able to do that and to be fully transparent, but to do it in such a way that everybody stays on the same page with that shared goal of academic achievement and driving student growth. We focused a lot on what we call classroom walkthrough look-fors. So best practices that principals should be seeing in the classrooms as they do walkthroughs, and then the feedback and how that feedback can impact student learning. So in our winter data meetings, and this is something Mr. Alexander may even want to add to, we sat down with every principal and looked at their school data. And then we talked about how to use PLCs to really drive student growth and drive academic achievement. Not just to look at those overall trends and look at broad, general things that we might do, but how do we specifically drill down student by student and specifically what tools and what strategies are we going to use to drive student learning and to address deficits and also to accelerate and enrich those students for whom that's appropriate. Do you want to add anything to that, Mr. Alexander?
No, that's a good description.
Sorry. So as we move forward, we're taking a lot of time to really look at what a strong PLC looks like. And what does that mean for teachers? For teachers, that means they're reviewing student work and student assessment data together. So we're not just looking at the standards and looking at the assessment results. Teachers are actually bringing in the work that they're assigning so that we can look collaboratively at if that work is rising, for example, to the rigor that we need to see for our students, for them to be prepared for what's expected of them based on their standards and based on our summative assessment at the end of the year. We look at discussing instructional practices that have worked best and where we need to go next instructionally. We look at identifying the enrichment needs and the intervention needs and then adjusting instruction based on what the evidence and the data shows us. And then, of course, how do we know that we're making progress? So we look for signs of progress. We look for PLCs that are more focused and structured. We look for increased teacher collaboration around the instruction. We look for stronger utilization of student work and assessment data, as well as connections being made between instruction, assessment, and intervention. And as always, we're looking at next steps. What comes next? So we want to continue to support principals in leading effective PLCs within their building. We want to strengthen the role of teachers within the PLCs. We have a lot of opportunities for teacher leadership within our district, and we really want to work with our teachers and strengthen their role so that they continue to lead within their buildings. Of course, we want to continue to build stronger literacy connections and instructional improvement, and we're always going to be focusing on the evidence of student learning. And so in light of that, I invited Melissa Maynard from Wayne Elementary and Allie Brewer from Lavalette Elementary because they have really taken the work that we've done this year to heart, and they have not waited to think about next year to revamp what they're doing. They've made pretty significant changes in how they do PLCs within their buildings, and they're already seeing results. And so I asked them to come share with us.
Yes, so I just made like a little packet. You can do with it what you will, but I'll hand those out. And it shows the variety of the PLC forms that we kind of adapt, because we don't just like say you have to use this specific form. We allow teachers to kind of create their own form, but they have to hit on the points of standards, curriculum, instruction, data, and assessment. So those are our key points that they have to always make sure that they are focused on. So as you thumb through that, you'll see the different grade levels, you'll see the different styles, but every one of them address standards, curriculum, rigorous instruction, the data that they looked at, and assessments that they plan to use. So, and to go off what Tanya said about how that we feel that PLCs are changing and are just like crucial to our academic day and our academic school year. And I'm gonna do that. I do this plug whenever I can, but when I was at East Lynn several years ago, they were a priority school. And we saw the need for PLCs. So we came together as a staff and we developed the PLCs that address those issues. And within a year and a half, 2 years, we were awarded a blue ribbon school. Now, was it just the PLCs? It was a plethora of things, but I feel like that the PLC set us on that path. It set us on that direction because we were focused. We were focused on those types of things that were the most important. Our standards, knowing the standards, diving down into those standards, having that instructional conversation, what's working, what's not working, what rigorous instruction can we offer our students. So it's not just all at a DOK 1 level. We want to challenge our students. We want to give them the knowledge, the experience, and the capabilities to take these assessments at the end of the school year every year. So just with that being said, throughout that form, you'll see, like I said, we address all of those things, and not all of them are the same, but they all address the same issues. The PLC Plus just kind of like helped just give that extra little push of and what we were trying to do at Wayne Elementary. So every Wednesday, I'll just kind of explain how our PLCs worked, because when I came to Wayne, it was like COVID. So, but I knew I wanted to bring PLCs to that school. It does look different because East Lynn compared to Wayne Elementary, 2 different dynamics, 2 different worlds as far as staffing, students, the whole thing. So it took us, Carrie and I, a couple years to kind of get our what we wanted to do. Get staff on board, because we're not going to go in and dictate this is what you're going to do. We show them the importance of it, and they all want to work collaboratively together to make sure that it works for the students, because that's at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're for these kids and to help them grow. So we had what was called like PLC Wednesdays, and every Wednesday everybody would PLC during their planning. And another time throughout the week, we would have an extra planning for them to give them kind of like that planning period back, per se, for their own classroom to get things prepared. So, which was working well. It worked well for a couple of years. And then like last year, we were sitting down, and we always try to like just at the end of the year and over the summer, our brains are working, but like, what can we do to make us better? What can we implement to just help us get a little bit better? And I was just like, PLCs, they have to change. So we sat down in our schedule when you have to get art, music, PE, and get everybody where they need to be at a specific time. It's a lot. It's a nightmare. But we sat down. She's like a master at scheduling. So we worked the schedule so that every grade level would have a back-to-back planning. So they get 90 minutes to plan. 1 day a week, they'll get that 90 minutes. And then the rest of the week is just their regular 45-minute block. So it's like we took that extra planning that we were giving them and just kind of pushed it to their regular planning, because we wanted these PLCs to be more meaningful to them. We wanted to give them time to have better discussions, to really dive into the data, to really look at the instruction, and to have those rigorous instructional conversations. So once a week, every grade level, depending on what day of the week it is, they have their PLC time. And then that last week of the month, they come to the office, and they have all of their data for the month, and we just comb through all of it. We discuss the PLC that they have been working on, the standard, the instruction. We talk about everything from what was great, what was not great, what would you do different, how can we, tweak this to make it better. Our students, are they even, mastering the concept going in this direction? So we really just like fine tune it, and that allows us to have that great 90-minute conversation with them and really dive into the curriculum with them. So Carrie and I both know where students are, because we are pulling that data every month with them. Not to mention, we have our 10-minute meetings once a month. We changed our grade level, or we changed our walkthrough system. I'll do like K through 2 1 month, and she does 3 through 5. That's a better picture for me. If I take a grade, like a primary grade level, kindergarten, first and second for a whole month, and I'm going into those classrooms only for a whole month, that allows me to get a better picture of what they're doing. So when I'm looking at these PLCs, I'm also doing look fors with that. Same when she's at 3-5, and then the next month we shift. So we're giving everybody that same attention, but it's for us, it's for me. I want to know what I can do to be that instructional support for my teachers, and I want to know where the kids are performing and how we're doing. So, any questions?
And I would say too, I'm really lucky to be at both Wayne Elementary and Lavalette Elementary as they're a couple of my walkthrough partners. And so I get to be in those schools often and work with all three of these ladies with the work that they're doing. And in terms of Wayne Elementary, I should have introduced Carrie too at the beginning when I mentioned Melissa, because Carrie and Melissa work so well together, and they both are such strong instructional leaders. And having sat in the work that they've done and listened to the conversations that they're having and the instructional work they're doing with their teachers, they just do a great job. And next we have Allie Brewer from Lavalette Elementary, and she does as well, and she's made a lot of significant changes this year to her PLCs to make them more effective as well.
So we started out the year doing vertical PLCs, and so I had one teacher from each grade come together, and we focused on ELA and we focused on math. Well, when our data started rolling in, that wasn't making a difference. It was checking a box. So, our year started at principals meeting and our PDs and our meetings with revamping our PLCs and things. So what I really wanted to do was dive deeper and be more personal with it, and see, how much, I know my teachers are working, but we need to make it more meaningful. So what I do is every Tuesday on their planning, they come and they sit with me and we discuss data from the previous week, their standards for this week, and then anything that I can do, to help further that instruction. So, it started, I have 2 teachers per grade, so it started, I met with them together, and then it was hard to kind of have those conversations because, one grade in particular, she needs support, the other one doesn't, and I always hear, you send a blanket email, send it to the people that just need it. So I was like, well, then I'll start meeting with everybody individually. So this is kind of our format of what we do. The top is a form that I got from our data meetings with the county. And you can see what we do is that's the first thing they bring their assessments in, and we go through the data. So this was a second grade. It was on 2D and 3D shapes, and we have the standard listed there. You can tell we even drilled down to their most missed question was number 9. So then, everyone in the class missed number 9. So why? Well, it's a circle. It's not, you can say it doesn't have equal parts. So what are we going to do to go back and reteach that? So those are kind of the conversations we're having with that. And then we move to the form that's on the second page. And this is just a form of, and you can see we do our meeting objectives, and those are usually the standards. I tell them to bring a reading and a math essential standard that they're teaching for that current week. So that's where I usually list that. We talk about any focus students. As you can see, this one that you see is they're doing time. So she told me there's a little girl in her class that's having trouble skip counting. So then we go to the interventionist and say, hey, do you have 5 minutes to pull this one? She's having trouble skip counting by 5, so it's affecting the time and things like that. And then in the notes, we talk about, that's just kind of our notes of what we're going to do. And then action steps and next steps, you can see there I put like skip counting. So then the next week, We followed up, which would be page 3. So that is this week. So we sat down and we looked at their reading. They brought in a reading test. So it tells what the reading test is, and then we go through, what's the most that were missed, what isn't, why do you think they missed it? What strategies could we use? Like last week, it was, those vowel patterns. So she said, I really need to sync my phonics lessons with my spelling because that will just reinforce and drive that skill. So she said this week, that's what I'm trying. They had to identify the 2 feelings and explain. She said more practice with the explanation. A lot of those standards are explain, or give evidence for that. So even though she has those high expectations of that through the week, some of them didn't meet it on that. So then we talk about what we need to do and things like that. So then the next page is the follow-up. So this was actually from today. So there are her new, she's still on time. We talked about 2 kids that were struggling. They were struggling with rhyming words. She said, our focus was rhyming words and they had struggle with that. So then this is where I even, kind of get in. So I was like, well, I've got a book that does rhyming words. Can I come in and do a read aloud? And she's like, sure. So I get to be in a little bit of that action. But then also in math, she said Carnegie jumps right in with clocks, but there's no review on, the time, AM, PM, things like that. So we went back and looked at what first grade standards were and what they, what that was, what they should have learned. And she said, well, they have got that down great. So I don't need to, focus on that. I can go back. So that's just a little glimpse of kind of what we're doing. I do like the more individual with the teacher. At first I got some pushback on it. But then like we would see, at one point they brought in a standard and I have my notebook there and I'm looking and I'm like, well, this isn't even a 2nd grade standard. So why are you teaching this? And they were like, oh, so they're really looking at their standards now, at least before they come to me, to make sure that it is, they're looking at the data, they're bringing their tests with me. Sometimes it doesn't even wait until Tuesday, like they'll run up and be like, oh my gosh, so-and-so mastered this sight word or, something like that. So it's really got the conversation rolling and the ball rolling. And hopefully it's making a difference. So it's making a difference with me. So hopefully it's making a difference.
And if you
with
look
the other
at,
two.
the top sheet, you'll notice that the way that she's designed this form for discussion,
Well, this is from Mr. Alexander. This wasn't my form. That's her.
it's from
his
the
form.
data.
PLC plus.
PLC plus.
But it aligns with
Yeah.
those PLC plus questions.
Mhm.
And so several of our principals, we've had several schools take this format and use this with PLCs.
When Carrie and I do our meetings with our teachers during that week, we use this form to guide our questioning for them. Because these questions are just exactly what they need, what we need too.
Keeps everybody on track
Oh, yes.
and focused.
Right.
And, but in addition to doing that, what really has struck me with these 2 schools is they've really completely turned the process inside out in reaction to what they've learned this year to be more proactive and make it more effective. And so, we just wanted to share that.
It's
wonderful.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I would imagine this would be great for your new teachers as well, to not only for your veteran teachers, but those new ones that are probably just struggling just to keep their head above water. This gives them that direction and
It gives them that support.
the support.
Yeah, and then also our, our veteran teachers, they'll come in and they've been doing it for so long that, sometimes they don't look at, we'll get the educator's guide out for the math and say, okay, did you teach it this way? Well, no. Okay, well then that's why we're missing it. So, you're able to have those conversations.
So they're so in just
as well.
routine
Right.
of how they've always done it. So these are great for the veteran teachers just as much
As
our
new
new
teachers.
And we find with our 90-minute block as well that we're able to get our coaches in to do, like Kelly will come in and she'll like do some specific grade level content to help
Right.
teachers, with the math, with the educator's guide. That was one of our strategic plan goals this year, was to get educator's guide being used by all teachers K through 5. And I can say we could successfully met that goal. And a lot of it is because I feel like we've had these moments in this time, and we've had the opportunity for Kelly to come in. The school that we've missed, Wayne Elementary was hit hard with the water and then the weather. So our teachers were hungry for, we need to map out the rest of our school year to make sure we cover the standards. Like they wanted that. So during this time, that was just a great opportunity to have those those discussions and get a map, get a game plan.
Yeah.
So
We were able to do that too. Third grade came in and they were like, these kids cannot get fractions on a number line. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna teach fractions because math is not my thing. But we were able to call Kelly in. She came in, she taught third grade for a whole day and we were able to move on with it. So it's working, so.
We've had a lot of success with Kelly, Arthur and Rhonda O'Neill both, not just with the participation and helping lead PLCs, but also then following that up by going into classrooms and modeling or team teaching with our teachers. And so they not only get to learn about the concepts or the resources or the strategies or tools in that PLC, but then they'll come in and actually teach right alongside them, elbow to elbow, and help model that as well. And we found that to be very effective.
Yeah.
Also.
The consistency between schools too, that's pretty impressive as well. We've always preached, we wanted, from one school to the next, everything just is consistent. So to hear you two mirror each other.
My teachers tell them.
Come on,
Listen,
Don't let them know. Don't tell them.
That's great. You gotta have someone who's a scheduling guru in your building, like Miss Carrie back here, because if they're not, like scheduling just busted me every year as a
Yeah.
principal.
Right.
Luckily, I had a counselor who was just gifted with scheduling, or we would have been in trouble.
Yeah, and we went to, last summer, we went to the TNI Leadership Conference, and which was fantastic, and we got so many ideas, but we started talking about changing our PLCs at that conference, and we were just like constantly figuring like, okay, this is what we're gonna do when we get back, so, we knew we wanted to change our PLCs, and, she just worked her magic and made it work, so we love it. I think our teachers, at first, they were change and any,
Right.
especially
Yeah.
when you mess with their specials times.
Right.
Their planning times, they get a little, but I said, give it a chance. If it doesn't work, I said, we can always revert back, but we'll never know unless we try. So they were very open, and now that we are to the month of March, they've seen the benefit and as well, and they love it.
Right. I think the benchmarks that we've seen so far show that you guys are doing something well.
Yeah.
So,
And so our focus for the year from the beginning has been on collaboration. And PLCs is just a tool for that collaboration to take place. And we've talked with principals and we've really focused on walkthroughs, the PLCs, and then our data meetings with the principal. So we're all responsible for that, making sure that collaboration is occurring, and we're all responsible for the learning environment. And we have the best teachers, some of the best teachers in the state, and just overall they are excellent. And so the more that we can get them working together, the better the results are going to be. So we've really seen some folks step forward this year. So we're excited to see our results.
perfect.
I like the idea of the collaboration. When you try to impose something from the top down, I remember from my teaching days, they didn't, those 5-year plans, they didn't work out 5 years. But when there's collaboration and everybody has a say in it, they buy into it
It creates ownership.
and they help each other. It makes it better.
Yeah.
Very true.
They're invested in it. If they have a say in it and they have a part in the creation of it, they're invested in it, they have ownership in it, and they want it to be successful. So it's gonna happen.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
For the
Absolutely.
Or real quick.
So I can update the academic spotlights.
Oh, that means we're gonna be on the board.
And that visual.
Okay, put the tall one in the middle.
She's alone.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so
very
much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Very good work.
And you're free to leave.
Yeah. All right, we can move on to our good news section,
Good news is we have some state competitions going on this week.
right?
So first up, our robotics teams are going to be competing up in Fairmont. And we had qualifiers from Buffalo Elementary School, Buffalo Middle School, Kellogg, Lavalette, CK Middle, Spring Valley High School, and East Lynn Elementary.
Wow.
I think it's the widest range of teams
Yeah.
that we've had competing up there. So they'll be competing, I believe the high schools are competing maybe today. Those competitions are mainly going to be on Thursday and Friday. In addition, we have our two girls basketball teams that are competing tomorrow in Charleston at the Civic Center, Coliseum.
You know, part of it.
And they play at
11.
Wayne plays at 11:15, and then Spring Valley follows, I believe, at 1:00. So be an exciting rest of the week.
Anybody else? All right, informational items, a special board meeting on Tuesday, March the 17th, beginning at 4 at Crum Pre-K 8. And then we will move to Tulsa High School around 5:15 to finish that up. Regular board meeting on Tuesday, March 24th, beginning at 6 here in the board conference room. Everyone good with those? All right, construction project updates?
We'll be doing a special board meeting on the 24th for levy rates.
Oh,
okay.
So that's the one where we set the levy rates, and then it's
adjourned.
adjourned until May,
Third Tuesday in April.
third Tuesday in April. And then we'll pick up and finish that. So,
What
Did you
time
say
was
with the 24th?
yeah, it'll be at
5:45.
5:45.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Construction project updates. I've got an update on the delivery for the bleachers at Wayne High School. They moved the date up a little bit. They're scheduled to be here to ship on March the 16th. And so that is moving forward. We met this afternoon with Buffalo Elementary's design team on their colors for their building. They gave some input back on it. We've received the comments on the design from the state. Those that they have responded to our architects who have to finalize some questions, and then we'll be ready to go out for bid. So everything's moving forward.
Awesome. Good job. Good job.
All right. Is that all?
That
That's
all?
it.
And no delegations this evening? So we can move on to our superintendent reports.
I've laid in front of you, at the last board meeting, we went over some benchmark data. And we really looked that evening, we looked at the benchmark data and the growth that occurred from fall to winter for the district, but we really didn't look at the state level. So what I wanted to share with you this evening was where the district is performing against the state. And so you have those numbers in front of you. I've also emailed this to you. On the first page is third grade. And you'll see that in the winter, the state was at 30% proficient in ELA, and the district was at 27% proficient. But the good news is we look at two things. We look at those proficiency levels at the winter mark, but we also look at the growth levels.
Yeah.
You can see that the district's growth was 21% and the state's was 17%. So we're closing that gap, and hopefully we'll catch that in the spring assessment window. Third grade math, again, district at 30%, state at 30%, district with 27% growth, state with 24% growth. So in both ELA and math at the third grade level, the district growth exceeded the state. You're going to see the same pattern in fourth grade. District was 16% growth in ELA, state was at 13%. The district was at 19% growth in math, the state was at 14%. And you can see that we're outperforming the state in fourth grade math overall, 27% to 26%. We're tied in the ELA. Fifth grade, we're tied for growth and outperforming the state in fifth grade ELA. We are ahead of the state in fifth grade math, 30% to 26%, and we were also ahead in growth, 20% to 17%. Fifth grade science, we were ahead by 3 percentage points, 35 to 32 in the winter, and also with the growth, 15% to 9%. Page 2 is the sixth grade. We were tied on the growth mark for the ELA, but we were ahead of the state 39% to 37% overall. Sixth grade math, that's, when we look at this data, that's one of the areas that we focus on. So we had 10% growth in sixth grade math, and we had the state had 11% growth. And then we're 4 percentage points below the state at the winter mark, 19% to 15%. So that's definitely an area we take a look at. Seventh grade. ELA, you'll see we're above the state, 36 to 33%. We had the same growth at 6%. In seventh grade math, slightly behind the state, 20% to 22%, and the growth was 1 percentage point behind. And then you have the 3 tested subjects at the 8th grade level. So with winter, we're 5 percentage points above the state, 40 to 35, and our growth was 4 percentage points above the state. For math, we were 1 percentage point behind the state, 20 to 19, but our growth exceeded the state, 14 to 12. And then with science, we're 7 points ahead of the state, 32% to 25%. Our growth mark is also 7 points ahead, 9% growth compared to the state's 2% growth. So I wanted to share those numbers with you. Overall, very positive.
Very promising.
Next up is levy revenue projection. So we mentioned that you'll be setting the levy rates at the next meeting. And then Jeb, you want to share some information on the projections?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
So we received our certificate of valuation from the assessor's office earlier this month. And what you have in front of you is just a comparison of the assessed values for the upcoming year compared to this year. The first column is the 2027 values. The second column on the left is 26. You have the net change. You'll see the class 2 property value went up approximately 29.7 million. Class 3 property went up approximately 10.9 million. And class 4 property went up 14.2 million. And it sounds like a big swing, but when you put it to the rates, and the rates haven't changed. The bottom line is we're expecting the current levy to go up approximately $250,000. We're expecting the excess levy to go up approximately $335,000.
He has those numbers highlighted at the bottom of your form.
We're looking at an estimated $591,000 increase in our property, or in our levies, both levies for next year. And this will be presented to you in the proposed schedule of levy rates at our next meeting, which will be sent off to state auditor's office for approval.
So while the state revenue is down 1.3 million, we do project that we're going to see an increase in local funding. So that's good. Any questions about that? Okay, and then the last thing I want to mention, just we're working on a couple of programs, a couple of student opportunities that I wanted to give you a heads up. We started a pilot diploma endorsement program in the law and legal area. We've talked about this before as something that we were looking at putting in place. And we've started a pilot program with some students from Wayne High School. They attended a court session with Judge Young this morning, a circuit court session, and have begun that process. They're going to do 3 observations and then do a mock hearing themselves later as they learn about how the local court system works. So I appreciate Judge Young and Judge Fry for being so open to that. I think they're actually working on those kids getting a chance to go up and see the Supreme Court in session as well in Charleston.
Wow.
So it's going to, I had a chance, I saw the kids at the end of the activity today, and they said it was really, really interesting. So they were lit up about it. So it was good to see. So we're getting that underway. And then next year we'll look to spread that to make it available for all of our schools. The other item that we're working on that I'm excited about is Marshall Advanced Manufacturing Center has an industrial maintenance program there.
Wow.
And we have contacted them and talked to them about wanting to build a high school feeder program into MAMC's program where kids can get credit and complete some of that work prior to graduating from high school. And again, we're in talks. There's nothing solid yet, but they are very open to the idea. And we're looking at setting it up something like our Jumpstart program where kids would actually be transported and can participate there in that project. So both of those are going to be exciting opportunities moving forward. And I'll let you know more as we continue those talks with the Advanced Manufacturing Center.
Sounds good.
That's excellent. All right, anything else?
That's it.
All right. Board directives or board reports?
No.
None? And we have no unfinished business, so we can move on to our new business, consent action items. Superintendent recommends approval of the following action items. Additional items received prior to the time of the meeting may be added. Discussion and/or separate action of items may be requested by members of the board and/or the superintendent. Items are subject to change. Any blanks will be filled in prior to the meeting. And in the event a nominee withdraws, we reserve the right to put the next candidate in that position. So number 1 is consider for approval the recommended personnel matters on pages 1 and 2.
And who are we terminating? Page 2. The coach.
Yeah, that is a coach. That's Jonathan Brock Atkins at Buffalo Middle School.
Buffalo Middle.
Basketball.
I did have a question on the employment, the last coach on the second page. It's listed as unpaid volunteer, but the coach that was previously in that position and resigned was a paid position. So just curious why this one was unpaid.
I'm not sure.
You want to pull it?
I would recommend we go ahead with it because I know that
They want to get
they're
started.
getting
Then we can go ahead
underway.
and pay him if it,
Yeah,
we can change it.
if there's a mistake, we'll bring it
Gotcha.
back.
Okay.
All right. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Janita, second by Randy. Any other questions or concerns on the personnel matters? None heard? All in favor then?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 2, consider for approval the voucher payments for February 2026 on pages 3 through 9. Motion,
Motion.
Dennis. Second,
Second.
Randy. Questions or concerns on those payments?
It's the worldwide equipment. What's that for?
That is bus related.
That's the international.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 3, consider for approval the minutes of the Wayne County Board of Education, pages 10 through 15. And that's meeting number 29.
Motion.
Motion by Randy, Sandy, second by Mark. Questions or concerns on the minutes? None? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 4, consider for approval the purchase requisition order in quotes in excess of $5,000, pages 16 through 19. Motion, Johnita. Second,
I'll say,
Dennis. Okay, questions or concerns on those requisitions?
That Creative Audio Visual Group that is out of federal funds that belong to Crum Pre-K through 8, and they are putting displays, electronic displays in their hallways and in the principal's office, and that's what that quote is for.
Okay.
Is the Mason and Berry, is that,
What page?
I'm sorry, page 16? Was that with the new system that they had to make a repair, or is this something new that we've had to?
Yeah, that's a repair to the system that was in at the time that the building opened.
Gotcha.
Deals with the dehumidification.
Still having issues with that?
Well, hopefully that solved it.
This, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Anyone else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. New business, separate action items. Number 1, consider for approval the treasurer report for February 2026 on page 20.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Johnita,
Second.
second by Mark. Any questions or concerns on our treasurer report?
You can see that the general fund, Fund 11, is holding strong, 53.2 million in revenue, 49 million in expenditures. And then, but if you look at the bank balance, that 2.9 million, that's a little low. Jeb has explained that tax collections are usually lean around this time. So what January and February are the roughest months for us to get through as far as revenue goes. So things should pick back up in March.
Gotcha. Hopefully. Right, especially March and April, right? All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm sorry.
Still looking. I'm
Oh.
in favor.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to rush you. All right, so we're good, 5-0 on that one. All right, Number 2, consider for approval of the budget supplement and transfers for February 2026 on pages 21 through 26.
Motion.
Johnita, second.
Second.
Randy. That's 21 through 26. Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 3, consider for approval out-of-state travel request. Fort Gay Pre-K 8 employees to travel to Get Your Teach On conference in Orlando, July 4th through the 9th. And that's funded by Title II Professional Development Funds.
Motion.
You're all fighting.
I'll second it.
Pretty close.
Johnita,
You guys really should pay more attention.
Mark had
I'm
the
just
second.
saying.
She's on it. She's ready to get out of here.
Who seconded that, by the way?
That was Mark.
Oh, okay, Mark. Gotcha.
Any questions or concerns on that travel? All right, all in favor?
Yeah, while they
Aye.
hesitated.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I want to pull number 4 for right now.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna let Mark have that one.
Make a motion on that.
All right.
Well, we're just going to check on competitive pricing
Yeah.
and see
Okay.
what's available.
All right, so we're gonna pull 4 for the
Okay.
moment. Moving on to number 5 then, consider for approval the Board of Education Annual Memorandum of Agreement between WVU Extension and the Wayne County Board of Education at a total cost of $50,769. That's on pages 28 and 29, or I'm sorry, 29 and 30.
So this expenditure is a part of our excess levy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's actually listed as one of the things that we
In levy, yeah.
that we raise funds through the excess levy for. I think the excess levy, Jeb, if I remember correctly, I think it raises about 48,000 for the WVU extension program.
I believe. Motion for that,
I'll make it.
Dennis. Second,
Second.
Randy. Any other questions on the extension? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And there's just as a side note that they do all of our classroom education and our summer reading program, nutrition and reading program. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Good program.
A little bit, it's on the salary too, I think. It goes
And the
under
salaries,
salary.
yeah.
That's really raised in
Right. That,
40-something years.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So they take care of
Yep,
all that. And
they
there's
do.
only, I think, 3 or 4 ladies in that,
Yep.
that department. So they do a good job. Number 6, consider for approval the proposal for installing safety window film at all campuses.
Motion.
We brought you more information on that this evening. So you have the security window film bid summary. Yeah, I gave a copy. That's okay. Go ahead.
You got out.
Perfect.
They don't have to dig for it.
Yours is
Nice.
colored.
Oh, yeah, I like blue. Thank you. Okay.
So Mike applied for a grant. Gosh, when was it?
24.
Get in no
It was
hurry.
24.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they had government shutdowns and things like that, and it just kind of lingered, took a long time to get. And I was surprised that actually you got the email that approved it. I think it was late September of last year. And I kept calling about it, and no response, and all of a sudden we got awarded. I think it's about $63,000
wow.
total, but you see the amount there is
Yeah.
about roughly $24,000 is the bid, the awarded bid to Window Film Depot. And basically, what this does, and we've looked at this for a couple of years, it's a film that goes over top of your existing glass. You don't have to replace the glass. Of course, your newer schools have bullet-resistant glass in it. Those
Yeah.
aren't films. That is built-in glass. That's Crum, that's CK Elementary, the Wayne High School renovation, the Wayne Middle School renovation. They have bullet-resistant glass on their bank of doors, man trap, inside the man trap.
Yeah.
It's all Kevlar in the walls. To the secretary, that's bullet-resistant glass in all the new schools. So
Yeah.
we're trying to retrofit some of these older schools, and really, about the only thing you can do is put a film over it. Now, these films don't stop a bullet, but what they do is keep that bad guy from busting that glass all the way through. And this particular film that Window Film Depot has, the Riot Light 14 mil, and I've watched film on this, the video, basically they can shoot through it, and they spent 5 minutes trying to bust through this glass, and they never got more than a hole this big.
Oh, wow.
And they were with a sledgehammer. They could not bust that glass.
Oh, man.
So that's basically what you're trying to do is buy some time for yourself. You
Yeah.
can run, you can call 911, but you're not gonna stop a bullet with film, you know?
It also
Yes, sir.
keeps the intruder from seeing what's going on in the room too.
Well, that's, And there's an option for that with this film. And we didn't really price it on that because the price goes way up.
Yeah, okay.
Even on the stuff we have at some of our schools like Buffalo Elementary, CK Middle, those films, they will stay there on the outside. This stuff gets put on the inside and
Okay.
attached to the
Right.
frame. So we don't have to take that stuff down, so that's good.
Yeah.
But this is a great product. If you get a chance, watch a film on it, watch video on YouTube on some of these things. They're fantastic, keeping people out, and that's what you're trying to do. Now, we're putting this on just select areas in the school. The bidding kind of got crazy in the beginning. When we looked at this, we sent out a company, and it was, when I applied for the grant, we needed something to base it off of. So this company, by the time I got the grant, they came back and it was really expensive to do the entire school, every window, every door around the buildings. So we revamped it, kind of did select areas. I don't want to give too much away security-wise in the public, but we're going to put it on select areas and we'll go from there. This is like stage one of that $63,000. So we'll build from there and kind of pick and choose what other areas we want to put it on, so.
That's what we're excited about, is that the price came in good.
Yeah.
And we've interviewed the company and they have extensive experience with school systems, and Mike has vetted the quality of the product. And so it's a good product.
They're pretty much in every state. This company's big. They're in government buildings, school systems, banks, a lot of different places, so. And they install in just about every state, so.
But the prices come in so good with what we want to do. We're going to have room to add to the project and do more than what we thought we were going to get accomplished.
Anything to help.
Yeah.
I mean, anything for
And
sure.
I greatly appreciate you guys making safety and security a priority in the school system.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All right, any other questions or concerns on our window film?
I'm glad we're getting it.
Always nice. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Before you start,
Yes.
can we approve all those together? If we
Seven.
can approve them for the same thing?
Yeah, if we're doing all of them
That's right.
for,
Does anybody want to approve these tonight since you've read them and
Further
understand
review.
all of them?
I
I'm just wondering.
think we should do further board review.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are y'all okay with that?
I think we're all good. So 7, 8, 9, and 10, and 11.
Now, please remember, when you look at your policies, any changes or edits that have been made will be in color and underlined.
Right.
Glad you're not checking.
It makes it a lot quicker to go through when you're looking for just
And
those
glad you're not
changes.
checking
Right.
either. Somebody'd have to be there telling you what
Backwards.
car.
Yeah. We did it
But,
backwards.
and, okay, before we vote, and are we going to divide these up? I'm just wondering. We can talk about that later, or do we want to? Does
We can.
everybody want to read all of them?
We was hoping you were going to volunteer.
Ah,
Johnny.
no.
You sure? We
Mm-mm.
let you do
I'm
half.
on the,
Let's see how it is. I don't care. We can divide them up. What, how many?
There.
7,
you're like 6.
come on. Tell you what,
How about I divide them up and I'll send you all an email.
Oh, that'll be good.
That's even
That'll be good.
Then we can
yeah, move it
even
along.
it out perfectly.
That's
That's
fine.
wonderful, Todd.
With
But
Johnny
don't
to
give me
do
the
it.
most.
Yeah.
You're going to do a little bit more.
All right, so we're going to collectively consider
Yes,
the policy review for a,
All for further board review.
right,
yes.
further board
I'll
review.
make a motion.
Do we need a date to bring that back or,
Regular
We'll
meeting.
bring it back at the next meeting.
okay, and you're going to email us the list?
Yes.
We will be anxiously waiting, won't we?
Yes, at next regular meeting. All right. Did I have a motion? I'm sorry. Dennis, second.
Second.
Randy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0 for further board review.
I think that's very good.
Potential items for a future agenda.
I don't have anything tonight.
Just, I have a
Make
question.
something up.
Has there been any more consideration or planning on the grant for the EMT class for next year, next 2 years?
I reached out to Will Tot in Spring Valley. He was contacting Mount West about getting that arranged. And so they have kids that are interested. And so that's moving forward.
Are we gonna be able to offer that also to the Tulsa kids and the Wayne kids and bus them down there? I know you and I talked about that before with the fire class
That's-
and the EMT class.
That's
Do
the
you think
plan.
that's-
Yeah, we want to do whatever we're operating next year, aviation maintenance, all these special programs. We want to make those available across the board. So yeah, we're going to work out transportation for those.
Do we have an instructor for that class?
Not yet.
Do we have anybody in the pipeline
There's a couple of different ones at school.
interested?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
I'll get you an update on that at the next meeting. We'll put that on the agenda.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. It is 7 o'clock. Thank you all.